Alright, hello everyone. So this video is going to be talking about the surprise live stream that Kim Ji-hoon decided to go and just shoot out of nowhere. Apparently, this 1 hour section here is actually just Mirror Dungeon Run. The reason being is that the actual notes that he was talking about is around this point over here and lasts until this point over here. He didn't really have too much to say, which is why he did a Mirror Dungeon Run just to wait for some of us to gather, and then after that he decided to go towards the PowerPoint part of the stream. So he did mention some interesting things inside of the actual run, and he also mentioned some of the more important details near the PowerPoint slides over here. So let's just go and look at this. I had one of my Korean friends help me to translate when he was actually streaming, and he suggested quite a few interesting stuff. First one is that he wants to bring Kanto 7 combat, all of them, into Mirror Dungeon. So he wants to bring the continuous fights where you fight a huge amount of enemies, like the Carmilla fight, where you just fight wave after wave after wave of Carmilla enemies. So that was one of the things he wanted. He wanted to fight a lot of enemies inside each of the combat nodes. But because you fight so many enemies, you will end up having a much longer Mirror Dungeon run because you have to fight so many enemies as you're going through the dungeon. And his solution is that I think he wanted to shrink the dungeon. So you would have less combat nodes, but then you would have more enemies to fight per node. So that's what's going to maybe be happening in the next Mirror Dungeon. He also wants to nerf Bloody Mist. The reason being is that he thinks that the damage deal 100% thing is actually a bit too ridiculous, so he might want to get it nerfed. Not sure if this will actually go through, but if you see Bloody Mist get rebalanced into a slightly weaker version of itself right now, it will be because of Kim Ji-hoon over here. But I think he said he specifically doesn't like this part here, the damage dealt 100%. He said that this is a lot of extra damage and it's a bit too OP for if you compare it to the rest of the other fusion eco gifts. As for whether this is the right decision, I don't really know, but he is the Kim Ji-hoon, so he gets to decide. Okay, so the next one is the abnormality combats. What happens is that since every abnormality node in Mirror Dungeon is actually just Pecutile, the small versions, the level 1 versions, they are going to bring over the level 2 versions. So we will get like Pecutile, Irei, and all of those other evolved versions of the Pecutile into the Mirror Dungeon, and we will actually fight those guys. We will also have a chance to encounter them when we go into focus encounters. So if you go into a focus encounter, usually human enemies, you can actually encounter abnormalities once they implement this part over here into the Mirror Dungeon from now on. They will also combine our healing stations as well as our shops. So you will do your healing and your shopping in the exact same station instead of splitting them up into one shop and one rest station. Alright. The next one is this part over here, I think, where he mentioned that he wanted to bring back Refraction Railway number 1 and number 2, and he would level up the requirement of the railway. So you would need to be like level 60 or something like that in order to have a comfortable time clearing the railway and whatnot. I'm not sure how they will actually implement this. I can think of a few ways. In Arknights, the old content, like the story content, actually gets locked into catalogs and stuff. So maybe they could do something like that where you just pay 20 anchor fairly and you go back in time, you go and do Refraction Railway, you get the rewards. Or maybe they will just implement Refraction Railway 1 as the new season's railway, or I don't know. Like there's so many ways they could implement this Refraction Railway 1 and 2 come back. But at the same time, if it's legit just the same enemies again, right? I don't know if it'll be that fun. It will be a bit like going back and be like, oh, I remember how to kill you, and then I just kill you that way, and then I just kill this guy that way, and so on and so forth. But I guess we have more toys to play with now. We have more teams that we can bring into the into the older railways, and then just run them down. Like I think Yasunyata would straight up die to any sort of status now, right? So yeah, I think the Refraction Railway 1s and 2s will have to be balanced to kind of match our power level in the current stage, or just some new enemies added to them if they want to come back. Alright, and then the last one here for Mirror Dungeon related stuff is that he wants to also mark the clear time and the number of turns for the end of your mirror dungeon runs. That's it, I think. Like, I don't think that this is particularly important or very good or anything. It's just, okay, sure, now we can see the turn timer at the end of the mirror dungeon, sure, I guess. Alright, and then the last part is actually pretty cool. We have the actual notes over here. So we should have plenty of news and stuff to share with you on our 8th anniversary stream. This anniversary stream is going to be on the 22nd of November. I think 7 p.m. if I remember correctly. I think that's Korea Standard Time. What's KST? Whatever. It's Korean time zone. Anyway, whatever the case is, the other stuff over here, Kim Ji-hoon says that they will fully focus on making Kanto 7 absolutely peak. So please understand that Mirror Dungeon update for this season will be longer than usual. And for the last part over here, he mentioned something very exciting, which is the anniversary stream will have news about the roadmap, the content, as well as COLLAB news. The COLLAB news he doesn't really go into big detail about, but it could be a Limbus collab, it could be maybe a business collab or anything like that. I didn't ask my friend for the specifics either, so maybe he did mention it, but I didn't really hear anything about it. But this has so many possibilities, I don't even know. The last time he talked to us, he said like some game companies were reaching out to them to make games for their other IPs. So maybe it's possible that, I don't know, Distortion Detective game, I don't think Lock Corp 2 will be the next one, but I don't know. Like, you never know, right? Whatever this collab is here. And honestly, collab wise, I can only remember the April Fool's joke where they did a sort of fake collab with like Blue Archive, Ark Knights, and Uma Musume, I think, if that was the correct ones. But yeah, maybe any of those could be coming into Limbus Company. It'll be kind of weird, but I wonder how it will actually go. Okay. So that's going to be it for all of this, really. I don't have any other important information. I think the rest, if you want to go and check it out, you can check the Reddit. There's some interesting stuff that they mentioned. I think one of them was that for this Mirror Dungeon run, he didn't have a lot of good units. So he used his own money to get units so that he can have a more enjoyable run, which is quite funny because he's just like paying himself in a way. But I mean, whatever the case is, pretty funny stuff in the entire Mirror Dungeon run. You can go and see the run. Around near the end, he just plays like an actual Limbus Company player. He just unga bunga, ego spam. Okay, boss is dead, I win. Alright, so that's gonna be it I think. Mirror Dungeon funny stuff, followed by a bunch of patch notes over here, which can be summarized pretty damn quickly. Okay. So that's going to be it. If I missed out on anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. And that will be it for this video. I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.